everybody and welcome on today's video. Today it's going to be about instant and free bonsai. So instant bonsai doesn't exist, but I'm going to take you on a little journey and show you what you can achieve in a couple of years. So the first stop is going to be the sand grove. So this is the old sand grove where I collect my sandstones, so let's have a walk and look at what we can find. Alright, so I'm back home now, so these are rocks that I already had, but none of them was really suitable for the thing that I wanted to do today. So I came up with these ones. So my wife found that one. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that, but it looks like fun. Then we have this one, which is quite interesting. I'm not sure what the best front is. I like that. And then we have a completely different kind of stone here. Always possible to grind down a piece so that it stands, so that's what I'm gonna do probably. So for a pot I chose this fantastic Tom Benda lasagna container that contained lasagna yesterday. So I made a hole in this, and then I had a little piece of screen that will do very nicely. So that's the final step, but it's prepared. So now for the trees. These are the 5 Japanese maples from seeds, 2-year-old now. They look like Japanese maples, 2-year-old from seed, which makes sense. So I'm gonna put some soil here and that's all I'm gonna need, like so. Then I'll get the trees out. Alright, and now very easily I'm going to put all these trees together like so. Make sure that the best roots are on the exterior. Distribute this rather evenly. So you see some of these roots are way too high, but that's not a problem at the moment, like so. And then we have the last one here somewhere. Now you see I have roots all over the place at every side, so that's what's going to help me when I have to position this thing over the rock. So now I'm just going to tie this together with a piece of raffia. Why natural raffia? Well, because it will rot and then there will be nothing left, and the pressure on the trees will not be so big that they get scarred, like so. Alright, and I'm gonna tie that. And I have a piece of raffia left, long piece and a short piece, which will help. So now let's take the rock So here is the flat part now. So I think that I'm gonna put the tree somewhere here. There's a little crevice. That of course is, yeah, well, seen a lot of root over rock videos and always thinks that you need a whole lot of rocks before you start to work on root over rock, because most of the time your rock is not compatible with the roots that you have, except when you work with really young stuff like we're doing today here. So going to drape this and make sure that I have roots on every side, because you need to have something clinging to the back, otherwise your tree might fall off in the coming years. And now I'm going to secure this. I don't know. You see, even with these young roots it's complicated. Yeah, I'd like to do it here, a little higher maybe. Okay, so I'm going to fix this here. Some roots will come from this side of the rock, some will come here, a couple in the back to make sure that it is well fixed. And then of course you want to see the rocks from the roots from all sides, so some here. That will look nice here. You don't need too much in the back, just a little to hold it. And now with the remaining raffia, we'll do a first fixing of the tree to the rock, and then we'll take care of the rest of the roots. So tight. And like I said, this is going to rot, so no worries in spring. So now I'm trying not to trap any roots. It's absolutely not what I need to do now. I just need to fix the base of the tree to the rock. Don't do 100 things at the same time, because it's gonna cause problems. So I think if the tree is that way, that looks nice, can start with a bend and then do whatever I want. So now I'm going to take a few other pieces of raffia and fix them to this one, for example, and wrap the rest of the roots around the rock as nicely as I can. Okay, so let's do that. So this is what we have now. All the roots are nicely wrapped around the rock. And now we are going to position the rock in the pot with the tree. Fill this up with soil. It's the soil where it was growing in, so it's nothing fancy here. Like that. Alright, you can use a little bit of soil to put on top of it. And then you take your moss reserve and you cover it all up, starting from the bottom, which is important. And build up the whole thing. I need a little more moss. Good thing to do is take that, well, do that in the fall when the moss is really happy and wet. And it still grows moss in the winter. And so now it still has some time to do what it wants. And if you're not sure of your construction, you can always, well, wrap this with some rope or something. But I think it's gonna work. Okay. That's all we need. And when that moss gets wet, it's gonna be okay. So now let's make a tree. Okay, so here we have the tree with a couple of rocks in the background, some aluminium wire. This is a piece of a tire. Let me move the camera. An old piece of tire from my bike. Had a flat tire, had to replace it. So, well, that happens. So I'm going to loop this, and then it holds. And then wrap this around the trees at a 45-degree angle. So I think I'm gonna leave one out here now, this one, yeah. Trying not to twist it. I didn't do it right. So this one, for example. And then another rather big one. Maybe that one, that's the biggest, why not? I'm gonna get that out. And then keep the two smallest and get that one out. These last leaves of the season are not helping, but that's not a problem. Okay, so these are the two smallest. Now, how do you end this with a rubber band? Well, it's not difficult. You just make a complete twist. Then you take a piece of wire. Iron wire is good enough. You don't need much. You get it around. And then you twist it a little bit. So now it holds. Excuse me. And then the last piece of thing is not needed. Now comes the difficult bit. I have to, well, not difficult. I just have to put this piece of aluminum wire exactly on top of this rubber band. And of course I need to get the trees that I got out also out. So I'll be back when that's done. So that's done. Now I want to wire that branch and that branch, and because you use one piece of wire for two branches. It's best to get the start of the wire between the two, not on top, so that's going to be much easier. And if you use a rubber band, we'll try to use it well, and I mean by that putting your wire on the rubber band. That will protect the tree and the branches a little bit. So the best thing, of course, is removing these wires in spring, because now it's autumn. Chances are that the branches will stay in position quite well, but not great. But it's gonna be a start, and because this is deciduous, you can always work with clip and grow. So now you want always your branches at the outside of a bend, which makes it a little easier. So this is a branch, so this is the bend, obviously. So this is an outside. So here comes the bend, you see? And now we have a rather interesting start of a tree, and the rest will be overdo it, always overdo it. It's gonna bounce back. If you try to bend a Japanese maple that thick, and I mean 1 centimeter, it's gonna break. So you cannot do that. Now this is the top of the tree. I want this to become a branch, so I'm gonna bend this in the back. And you can cut off just a little. So here's our tree. Like that. Remove the terminal buds, that's not a problem. Not here, you want this to become the leader. So that's it. Ready to go. Maybe I'll fix some better moss if I can find some, but you know, it's just covering up. So that's it. So before we wrap this up, these are also seedlings, but you see they're very tiny, from the same year, same plant, everything, but well, they didn't get that lucky. They didn't have enough light, so now they're going to get a chance. I repotted them, I transpotted them, didn't cut any root, of course, so these are going to grow next season if they make it. This is still from the same batch, as you see. Very small ones also, and well, a little bigger, but not really ready to be worked on, I think. But now they have a whole lot more space and light, and that's gonna be better. And then to finish some of the things that I made, so this is a little one on a rock, wired up, and yeah, well, of course it needs to grow. I think it's 3 trees. These are 8 trees. They are not on a rock. It's 3 trees here, 5 here, and then you see again when I left one tree out to increase the taper, I made the bend afterwards so that it's on the outside. And that's an important branch, of course. Again, rubber tire, and then when I cut the branches off, I just planted them, you know. Will they grow? Well, probably not. Japanese maples are not really good cuttings with winter or fall cuttings, but well, if I throw them away, I'm sure they won't grow. So that's, yeah. And that again is 5 trees on a rock covered with moss. Same principle as the one that I showed you before. Now I can also bundle them, or I can just make a 5 tree clump on top of a rock, which is also possible. So, well, yeah, you have lots of possibilities. So you see, free bonsai is possible. Is it instant? Well, if you take in consideration that to get the seeds and plant them, it's going to take you not a whole lot of time. You can do that with a whole lot of seeds. But then, of course, you need to let them grow for a year or two. So that's not really instant, but that's not a whole lot of work to do. And then you can start the creative process with a rock, without a rock, with a lasagna tombenda plastic pot or not. So yeah, that's not instant, but it's kind of free. So it's possible to have a great tree in, I say, with fusion techniques, 3 or 4 years. And when I say a great tree, well, you'll see if I have the courage to film and the time to do that. You'll see these trees back in June and maybe in a year. So I think I can prove my point by saying that this is really a nice concept. So in the meantime, if you want to see any updates, let me know. If you don't think that fusion is interesting, then you should watch something else. But for the ones that kept watching, thanks a lot and see you next time.